Anthony, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for
Good,
calling.
I'm doing good.
What would you like to talk about,
Yeah.
Anthony?
So, you know, a lot of times on these shows, someone will call in and talk about their God belief, and one of the hosts, not you guys, but one of the hosts will inevitably say, "Well, do you believe in the tooth fairy or leprechauns or Bigfoot?" And I just think it's unwarranted to put Bigfoot on the same level as the tooth fairy or God, because there's more evidence for Bigfoot than any of those things.
Okay.
I mean, it depends.
Let's hear this out. Let's hear this out. Go ahead, Ethan. Ask your question. I think you had something.
Well,
I guess that depends how you're classifying evidence. But if you're going off like some of these grainy photos, then yeah, I guess sure there's more evidence for Bigfoot than a tooth fairy. But I wouldn't really call it credible or reliable evidence.
well, I mean, Bigfoot, for example, there has priors. I mean, Bigfoot is probably an animal, a primate, probably a hominid, and that's a thing. You know, we don't have examples of supernatural creatures like fairies or deities, but we do have examples of primates and hominids that exist now and that have existed in the past.
Yes, we do. And right now, I wish that I could channel my inner gutsick Gibbon, because she was on this show about 3 months ago, right? And she is a student of biological anthropology. And as much as I would love to be able to talk about this issue further, I wish that I had the knowledge background that she has. Have you ever heard of Gutsick Gibbon?
No, I'm not familiar with her.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel called Gutsick Gibbon where she actually breaks down a lot of anthropological beliefs. Now, I'm not saying anything about Bigfoot right now. We'll get to that in a second. But I wish that
Sure.
she were on here because she could really puck this down for all of us.
So do you believe?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you believe Bigfoot is real, or you just don't think they should be compared?
No, well, I won't go on the record as saying that I think for sure that there is a North American primate running around out there, but I do think that there is enough evidence to at least warrant further investigation. You know, that people who are trying to investigate Bigfoot shouldn't be ridiculed. I think there's enough evidence to justify that search, and I don't think that Bigfoot should be compared to like the tooth fairy, because that is a form of ridicule. And if Bigfoot is real, there's so much we could learn from a creature like that, about human evolution, about the evolution of bipedalism. There's just so much a creature like that could teach us.
And if that creature is real, then yeah, I would agree. Would you be willing, and obviously we can't review this right now live on the show, but could you send Puck and I the evidence that you have that you find convincing so we could look it over?
Yeah, sure. And we can talk again some other time.
We just popped our email down there in the lower third. So if you send an email to truth@atheist-community.org and send it attention Puck, I will make sure that it gets over to Ethan here. I guess where I'm coming from with this is that I see two possible different ways to begin an investigation here. Number one is to say, okay, I'm pretty sure there's a Bigfoot out there. Let's go find it. And the other way that I can think of it is let's just explore and understand the biome of the Pacific Northwest, or wherever it is this is, right? Because an ecosystem has to be able to sustain a Bigfoot, right? It has to be able to sustain a population like that. And there would be evidence of this, not just a footprint here and there, but there would be a niche for them to exist in that they would fill. So another way that I can think of to do it is, instead of like, let's look for Bigfoot specifically, let's find out what made this vague footprint specifically, is let's just study this environment as a whole. And then we'll figure out if there's room for a Bigfoot here. I'm with you. Let's not rule anything out until it's actually, yeah, we don't have room for this. But why not just do an open investigation of the environment, of the ecosystem, and see where that goes, instead of saying, you know what, Bigfoot, we're going to go after Bigfoot. Help me understand why you would choose.
we already have two examples of the ecosystem in the American Northwest supporting a large omnivore. We have bears and we have humans, who have colonized this area for 10,000 years.
Yeah, and I get that this is an environment where this is possible. I guess what I'm wondering is, why not just explore the biome instead of looking for one specific creature within the biome?
I think you can do both. They're not mutually exclusive. In fact, we do both.
Give me an example.
Of what?
When we do both. Like, give me an example when we look for a specific creature.
We do scientific research of our ecosystem daily. There are scientists out there daily studying, the biome and the ecosystem, and there are people out there daily, looking specifically for Bigfoot.
Okay, I'm thinking beyond Bigfoot. Like, when have we looked for like a specific animal instead of just exploring the environment and seeing what exists in there?
Yeah, that's
like the times I can think of this is so go ahead.
When we get reports of an animal, eyewitness accounts, or maybe tracks, then that usually prompts investigations. Like, for example, there were stories of a rhinoceros population in Vietnam, and some hunters or some poachers were caught with a poached specimen of a Java rhino that was thought to have been extinct for thousands of years. So in that region, there was still a population on the island of Java. So when there's evidence like that, like some of the eyewitness reports and the footprint evidence and video and photograph evidence of Bigfoot, that prompts an investigation. That's what's prompting and inspiring people to go out and investigay.
Well, so why do you think in a day and age where we have technology, there's cameras everywhere, and why do you think we're never getting a clear picture of said animal? Like, don't you think it would be much easier to find nowadays?
It's disappointing that we haven't had better evidence. That's true. It's disheartening, and that lowers my confidence level, and that's why without a type specimen or without better evidence, I can't say conclusively that this creature exists. I just feel that the evidence we have so far is compelling enough to warrant continued investigation.
Okay, so you're not claiming.
Ethan, unfortunately, we gotta put a pin on this here because we're getting the red light from the producer. This is a wonderful example of, like, we don't have the means to examine it on this show, but we want to continue this conversation. So would you be willing to share with us the information that you have through the channels that we have available for you here? Because I don't want to end this conversation, but unfortunately the time constraints me say that I have to. Can we keep this going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate that you're willing to share all this with us. And I'm sorry that we didn't have time to hash this out while we're live on the air. But I do want to keep going with this conversation. So please keep reaching out to us. All right.
Thanks for taking my call. It was fun.
Thank you, Anthony. And I really do want to read what you have. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about all the different ways that you can continue this conversation. Okay. One of the best ways is to email us directly at truth@atheist.community.org. Sorry, atheist-community.org. If you put it in there and put in the subject, whatever we were talking about here, I'll read it. I'll send it over to Ethan. We will continue to engage in this conversation. Also, if you have not already done so, you can join our Facebook group and our Discord. We can get links for you. There's a link to our Facebook group right there. I'm very active in there. So if you put something on there, I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna keep engaging with you. And there's a link to our Discord down there also. There's always people there who are willing to keep talking. If you want to continue to support this show, you can join us on Facebook. You can join for as little as 99 cents a month. Even if you can't join and give a financial donation, every comment and every like and every share is helping us out. We also have a very deep merch store where you can dress up just like me and get your own Truth Wanted merch. There we are. I actually have the Truth Wanted. Don't show it there, but I have a Truth Wanted mask. And it's really cool, and I was wearing it all day today, and hopefully that'll start spreading the word.
Puck, maybe you can put in a word for me, but can I get a Truth Wanted shirt that looks like this with like 1 million different colors on it? That would look cool.
I don't have the, oh, okay. And finally, to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/truthwanted. We do have some fantastic Patreon benefits there, including being called out as our patron of the month.